He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J. Loren Norris.
It amazes me when I see people, especially people in leadership, who don't really want to take action on the things that they're supposed to be doing. They just want to allocate words. They want to say a lot that makes it sound like they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're really busy about mincing words and dancing with words and word salads, but not about action. They're not doing the things that need to be done to get the results that they want to get. But leaders know to avoid the word play, the word salad, the dances with words, and focus on actually getting things done. That's what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders.
Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom.
I'm J. Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and it really does amaze me how many people, they don't want to really get anything done. They want to talk about what they're going to do. They might even talk while they're doing it. And they'll definitely talk about it when they conclude that they've done something. But the action that you expected of them never really took place. And so sometimes the words that dance around after the action should have been done, after the task or the assignment was intended to be completed, those words are really excuses. Sometimes those excuses sound like, well, here's why I couldn't do that thing. Sometimes those excuses sound like, well, somebody else was in my way, and so it's really just a blame game. Sometimes those answers, those excuses, are a matter of saying, well, it wasn't really that important to me to begin with. If you've listened in the last several months to any of the DHS secretary, the undersecretaries, the treasury, the list goes on and 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 on of people from the executive wing and others who have testified before Congress just to kind of give an update on where things are at and what's going on next. The amount of word salad and dances with words that really don't depict what actually took place. But it's like they're saying, I understand what your priority is, but let me tell you what my priority is. I understand the question that you're asking me, and I don't really intend to answer that question, but I do have a lot of words to say about something else. I want to change some words around. I want to re-explain some meanings because I don't think you understand that my priorities and your priorities, they're not the same. And what you expected me to get done, the results that you're asking for, I never really intended to do those, but I do have a lot of words to explain why my priorities are better than your priorities, or they're more important, or at least why I think we should talk more about what I have to say than what you expected me to do. And after a period of time, you realize, for lack of a better term, it's a filibuster. You only get so much time to ask the question, to challenge the results, to modify the behavior, if you will. And it's true in an employee review. It's true when you're leading a project or an assignment, and you have a certain group of people that are supposed to get certain tasks done. If you've ever hired a contractor to get something done, I have a wall that's being built and the door that's going to be put in. And over the last weekend, they framed it up. Last weekend. Today's Friday. There's no door there. There's no drywall. Oh, the drywall's here. The drywall's, it's actually out on the sidewalk getting rained on. It's not drywall anymore. Hopefully it's gypsum board, because if it's regular old sheetrock, it's going to be all warpy. It's been out there on the front sidewalk for 7 days now. But I'm sure if I ask, there's a phenomenal amount of explanations for why there's a door frame, but there's not a door in the frame or a wall around the door frame. You can literally just walk right through where the wall/door is supposed to be. And if you ask, there's plenty of reasons, excuses, explanations for why there's still not a door there. Any leader knows that those words are significantly less relevant than the actual doing of the task. Most people don't want you to explain how or why, they just want you to get it done. Now, I can tell you there is a conundrum there when you are the doer of the task. Because I have clients on a regular basis, especially in the world of audiovisual and cameras, that will say to me, well, I just want it to be like this. And I'm like, well, that's great, but your budget doesn't afford that. Or what we've agreed to do looks like this, and what you're asking for looks more like this. You wanted a microphone and an amplified voice. And now suddenly you want a slideshow and a projector and a screen or a LED wall. The LED wall by itself, for me to get it here, cost 5 times what you've agreed to pay me for the mic and speaker. And so all of a sudden the scope of what the expectations were has changed. That's a different thing when the assignment changes, when the task changes, but it's still not going to be best answered by dances with words. A good explanation, a firm understanding of the scope of the work before you get started, a great comprehension of the job description, those things will make a huge difference. Those aren't dances with words. Those are clear articulation of expectations. And the attitude of expectations says, I know what I think, and I know how I feel about what I think, and I know what I think about how I feel, and I feel like I expect of you these 5 things. Now, articulating those 5 things is absolutely imperative. But if you don't take the time to articulate those things up front, to be very clear on what those expectations are and how those expectations are going to be measured, chances are you're going to find a place where you're disappointed, and the worker, the person who's supposed to be getting the task done, the person who had the assignment, the person on whom you've placed these expectations, they're going to have a lot of excuses for you and a lot of explanations for you, but your task, your assignment still are not going to be done. And a lot of times, that's because the leader wasn't clear on the expectations to begin with. Oh, it's nice to have someone on board, someone on your team that you get along with, that you have a great time with, that you have great conversation with. Those are awesome things. It's nice to know that you could hang out after work or go grab some French fries and a Diet Coke or a beer if that's your thing, or go fishing together or spend vacations together. Those are all awesome things to know you have that kind of relationship in your workplace. That's great. But none of those things, just like dances with words, none of those things replaces the actual productivity you expect. And that productivity has to be clearly defined before you get started. If you don't set those expectations up front, here's what you should expect: disappointment. If you're not clear about what your expectations are before you even get started, you'll be clearly disappointed in the end. And no amount of dancing with words, no amount of explanations or reasoning in the end will be nearly as satisfying as accomplishing the task at hand. As a leader, don't play with the words. Don't play with the amount of time that you have to get the project done. Understand and clearly define what the scope of that project is, and clearly define what your expectations are to consider that a success. If you'll take the time to do that at the beginning, you'll be much more satisfied at the end. And the words that you use, they should be clearly articulated and concise, not dances with words that sound like a word salad. I'm Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
Loren is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Loren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Loren will serve you well.